The one and only Verl Workman is here, and he's going to teach you how to take your sales to the next level. And I'm telling you, get your groups on here. This is how you're going to grow. Verl, take it away, baby.
What's up, Brent? I try and get on just a little bit early so I can be inspired from your wisdom and pearls. So thank you for sharing. Your group is so lucky to have you as a leader that just is constantly thinking about how to improve and make everybody better. And I
Thank
think it's probably the most attractive thing that you can do is just show up and be present for your people. And I respect that so much as a leader. So thank you. And
you.
hey, you know what? I'm in a great mood today.
Come
I,
on.
you know what? Look how good, look how sharp look, like I'm a golf shirt guy and I'm wearing like a suit and a nice shirt. Now, I will tell you, I'm probably wearing shorts, but I'm not going to show you, but that might be true. I just want you to know that, when we're doing Zoom events, we got to look good from the waist up. And I'll tell you that one of the things I was thinking about is how casual we've gotten in our the way we present ourselves. And I think that that is part of what happened with COVID, right? Is COVID made us so that we got casual. We stopped dressing up and dressing for success. And one of the things I think about is like I don't have to wear a suit to impress anybody. But I feel like when I get up in the morning and I shower and I shave and I dress as if I'm meeting with an executive or a leader or somebody that I'd like to do business with, I behave differently. It changes my physiology. I work differently. And so it's not my topic of today or the theme of today, but I just want you to think about how you show up from people. And even though we try and not be judgmental, people decide in the first couple seconds where they like, know, and even want to get to know you. And so people are prejudging the way that you shake their hand, the smile, whether you make eye contact, whether or not you're looking at your phone when you're on a Zoom call. They determine immediately what this relationship is going to be like. And so how do you want to show up? How do you want to show up so that when people see you, they go, dang, I want to be with that person. Like whatever they're doing, whatever they're having, I want to have some of that because that looks good. So anyway, I'm just thinking I feel better when I dress for what we all consider success. Somebody said to me the other day, it's interesting. You got notes, Brent? Give you a nutty.
I'm writing down everything you're saying.
I did a call the other day with somebody who always shows up with a white shirt and a black jacket on. And he's a consultant with T360. I think you know who T360 is. And I'm on a consulting call with T360. And I said, man, dude, you always look so sharp. He says, it's interesting. Whenever I go to get my car fixed, the guy at the car place always has a uniform on. When I go to the doctor's office, the staff is all dressed in a uniform with a white coat and they have a stethoscope around their neck. It's like professionals wear uniforms. And he says, I want to show up in my uniform. So I'm just throwing that out there. What's your uniform? Like, what's your uniform and is it working for you? And if you're not having the success you want from an attraction perspective, maybe there's some unsaid messages that we need to fix. It's not what you say, but it's the how do you get people to be open to what you're saying? Just throwing that out there. Okay, so
Good.
now I actually have a theme and a topic, Brent. I love these calls because it makes me really think about what's going on. On our last call, I don't remember if you talked about that, but we talked about how to find opportunities in any market by having a serve regardless of opportunity attitude. It's instead of, and this happens all the time. I was on a group coaching call and a client said, how do I get so I don't feel icky calling people I know? And I said, the only reason you should feel icky is if you're trying to get something from them. If you're trying to sell them or talk them into something or get something from them, it's always going to feel icky. But if you're calling to legitimately and authentically serve them, there is no icky in that. Like, hey, I just want to help. Whether you join me or not doesn't matter. Here's a tool or a resource or something that's making a difference in my life. And I just thought I would share it with you. You're open, great. If you're not, then maybe you can share it with somebody else. That message changes the call reluctance. Call reluctance happens when people feel they don't feel committed to their message and they don't have a servant's heart. They're not really trying to help that person, they're trying to help themselves. So when you're making calls and you don't feel like picking up the phone, change the mindset of how you're thinking about the conversation. Brent, I'm trying to sell you to buy into my next big thing. You know in 5 seconds that I'm trying to sell you something. Is that true?
Yep.
But how many times have we had a call where you go, you know what, Verl, I'm just trying to figure out how to get you more clients. Or I think, Brent, how can I help your people get more production? And by helping each other, how does it help both of our businesses grow? Like we have way more of those conversations and they're not icky. They're genuinely designed to say, how do we help our people? That's, to me, that's how relationships are built. So we talked about serving regardless of opportunity. We talked about, I shared with you a really cool tool called the listing audit checklist. And it's a worksheet that you can use for agents that have stale inventory that's not moving. Like, is that a problem in the market today? Like
Yep.
NAR message to it today, didn't they? They talked about the number of days on the market and the increasing inventory in almost every market right now. Well, when people have inventory that's not moving and you have a listing audit worksheet that will help them get their properties that are stuck under contract and have critical conversations with the seller, you have a reason to reach out. If you're calling them to get them to join your organization, you're selling them something for your benefit. By serving them, it opens them to have the conversation about what are you doing and where did you get this? And you say, oh, we do this stuff all the time. Every Tuesday, I have a call with Big V, and he shares us this unbelievable content that allows us to move the needle with listings. It's what they do in their coaching calls, and we just have a relationship that allows them. And it's not just me; you have all kinds of information like that. Okay, so serve regardless of opportunity, and then give them something that puts money in their pockets, whether they join you or not.
Good.
Right? Like, is there any downside in this conversation?
Nope.
Now, if I give you something that made you money this month and I call you again next month, what's the likelihood you take my call?
Good.
And if every time I show up and give you something and you never give me anything in return, then I can have a conversation with, do you understand how reciprocity works? I want to continue to give and give and give. And like you may never join me, but from time to time, will you throw me a bone and give me somebody who does? Like I don't care if you ever do. Just like you hear of people all the time that are looking to make a change or want to grow or want to have income that's not related to real estate. And when that comes up, just ask them to talk to me. And whether we ever do business or not, I'll put them on my share list and give them the same kind of information I've been giving you. Like that is how we really grow as we serve. Now, I would like to give you the next phase, the next tool, or the next resource in having critical conversations. Most people aren't able to have the right conversations with their sellers in the right times because there isn't a system behind it. Anything you do 3 times, we build a system for it. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to give you 2 resources that are so cool. And Brent, this is like money gold. Like,
All right. I'm ready, baby.
okay. I'm gonna hit play right this so it plays. Okay, so this first thing I'm going to share with you is called the Pivotal Conversations Timetable. And it's when to have pivotal conversations with the seller, why it matters, what to focus on in the conversation, and an example of the opening line. Now, what I teach my coaching clients to do is that when you go to a listing appointment, you share with them that during the listing, there's going to be times when things go well and things don't go well. And I have a system that I follow where we have to have critical conversations. I set them up, letting them know that after the first week of showing, I'm going to call and give you feedback. We're going to give you initial response, find out what the market says. And now that we've heard that, we'll know what kind of activity or pivot we have to make in the process. Make sense? When the showing activity drops off dramatically and we've stopped getting showings on your property, we're going to have why it matters is because there's silence after showings, or it's a rejection signal that the market is rejecting the way that we're presenting the property. And so we have to make a course correction. It's either price, condition, or location. We'll talk more about that. And then there's a momentum shift online. So we look at views versus interest. We're getting a lot of views, but not getting a lot of calls. And it's a price war and a beauty contest, and you have to win both online and offline. And then we talk about what we've seen, but the momentum's tapering off. So I'm going to talk about that. After 10 days without any serious internet, we have a conversation. After critical feedback from a buyer's agent that gives us really good feedback, I need to have permission to be able to have this confirmation with you. After a major showing shift, we don't get showings anymore. So this is the pivotal conversation. So how many of you, I'm going to open this up live. I just want to see really quick. Okay, so this is the thing I wanted to share with you. Okay, it's a one sheet. All right, this is good. Anybody want a copy of this? Is this something that if you understand in a listing, how you'll have what? Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. Thank you for coming off and saying yes. I love to hear some energy behind that. I'm going to give you another one now. Okay. And a lot of people don't understand. Am I still sharing my screen? A
Yes.
lot of people don't understand how to not only have critical conversations, but how do you adapt the conversation to the style of your seller so that they're open to the feedback. Everybody teaches disc profiles, right? A dominator, an interactor, an amiable, or a supporter, and then the high analytical. But no one actually really teaches how to apply it in a real situation to get an impact. Brent, I'm going to tell you. So I did an interview for one of my coaching clients just the other day, hiring for a operations manager, and it's a high paid team. They do 7 million GCI hiring an operations manager. They'd done through all of the interviews. They had all of the stuff. The team liked the person, but they wanted me to do a final interview. So I took the disc profile and the motivators of the person. I took the job description, and then I took the resume and then I put it into our AI hiring engine. And I said, compare all these things together. Tell me why this person's a good fit or why they're not a good fit. And then I had another question that says, give me 10 critical questions that this person with their behavioral style will answer. Oh, that's a good question. That will give me better insight as to whether or not they can do the job and they're the right cultural fit. Of my 10 questions, it only worked on 7 of them. 7 of the 10 questions, he goes, wow, that's a good question. Let me think about that. And then had to give me an answer. They couldn't give me a chat GPT answer because I took the time to ask a question in a way that resonated with the behavior style of the person that I was talking to. And so we created this. This is called, oh shoot, Candace, it's not linked. This is called the DISC personality decoder. And it's when we are talking to somebody in each of the different behavioral styles, how we communicate with them, specifically around listings. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to have Candace, did you give me a link to that in my Slack, please? Okay. So I'm going to show this to you here. While she's pulling that up, everybody grab this. If you're already an insider, meaning you've already signed up and you get the tools and resources from these, you'll get it. But if you're just coming on the call for the first time, make sure that you download the QR code, tell me who you are. And then if at any point you ever want to have a deeper discussion or you want to talk about what it looks like to coach with us, you can raise your hand. But that's the resource. That's how you get access to the resources. Now, here's the personality decoder. Let me take you through that and show you how we use this. And so the way we use this is, how are you feeling about how things are going so far? This will tell you how a D is going to answer, how an I is going to answer, how an S is going to answer, and how a C is going to answer. And so if you understand, a D is going to tell you, well, I'm frustrated. You said you'd get this sold the price we said they could do it, and you're not doing it. The D is going to be straight with you. The S is going to say, well, it's been a little bit quiet, and I guess that's just how things are right now. They have the same level of frustration. They just communicate it differently. But we don't understand how to message to them when they do. And so I say, what do you think the market's trying to tell us? The D is going to say, well, we need to change our strategy. You got to get more aggressive. They're going to tell you what you got to do. And I'm going to respond to that. A high is going to say, well, maybe people just aren't seeing the charm in it like we do. And S is going to say, well, I don't really know. It's just not the right timing yet. Think about that. Interesting, huh? And then a C is going to say, well, based on what I read in the comps, it could be the price, the condition to price condition mismatch. Like a C will have done the analytics and done it. And then I said, okay, so if understanding these are my different behavioral styles, if we need to make a change to attract more buyers, what would you feel right? What would feel right to you? The D is here, the I is here, the S is here, and the C is here. We're changing it. Not every seller is going to respond openly and cooperatively. And so we try and pair examples when we do it differently. And so this is a true worksheet on how to work through how to communicate with your sellers when you have a problem with moving the property. The reason a lot of times agents are hesitant to reach out is because they know they've got a high D, and a high D comes across sometimes as an a-hole, and they're not an a-hole, they're just direct. And when you're a high S, you don't know how to respond to that. And so you think they're being mean or aggressive, and it's not. It's just how they're wired. Brent's I is so high, his tone is so optimistic, and everything he does communicates in such a high I. If I communicate to him and I meet him where he is, we're going to be able to figure this out together because our goals are the same. So when you're talking to a D, it says, look, focus on control outcome and making bold moves. Keep it short and decisive. Don't beat around the bush. When you're talking to a I, keep your tone optimistic. Look, we're going to figure this out. The market's telling us something. We just got to make a course correction. Use language around energy, excitement, and potential. With an S, you have to understand that they don't want to be pushed into a corner. And so you need to be gentle and reassuring and slower paced. And you need to emphasize that the reason they're moving is for the safety and security of their family and to avoid the future stress of continuing to live in this home. When I use languaging that messages to the S, they're going to respond very differently to that. And with the C, it's that, man, when we did the analysis 2 days ago, it was so different than what we're getting today. 15 more properties have gone on the market and they weren't yours. So let's look at those properties and let's find out what the market's telling us. And then you can decide how you want to make a course correction based on that data. That each one is different. So we got with this document right here is gold because it takes and helps you message to a specific problem in that we're not getting properties moved. I've given you I want you to think about this tool set that I'm giving you. First, I said we're going to serve regardless of opportunity. We're going to get more listings and more opportunities because we're serving. We're going to do a listing audit checklist so we can go after expireds, for sale by owners, notice as a default. When we talk in a listing presentation, we now have this thing that says, I have a 100-point listing audit that I go through to make sure we're doing everything right to get your property sold. That blows people away. And then now I've given you the critical conversations checklist that says, here's when and how we're going to have critical conversations during your listing and how we're going to message to each other. So you set yourself up to have the critical conversations in the beginning. And now I'm going to teach you, here's how you talk to people based on who they are so that you have a more effective outcome every time you have an exchange. Okay, that's all. How's that for a quick nugget? Now, let me open up the call to any questions or thought you have around this concept. Can you see the value in the process that I'm taking you through and how I'm building on each other, building on things that are going to help put you in a position to be able to dominate in your market? Do you see it? Is there anybody that you can think of right now that you wish was hearing this? Brent, anybody in your organization that's not here you wish was?
Oh, of course.
Let's invite him. Let's get him here. Let's get him here. I want to be here and continue to share. And I want 1,000 people on the call.
So we literally are today we'll have it done a beautifully graphic thing where there's something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and this is the Tuesday thing, and we're going to push it out to everybody for all of you to get people on because this is great information, and when they miss it, they miss it. So
well, I just love doing it. So I love the excitement and the energy that y'all have. I love your body language. Who's got a question for Big V before I move out? Anybody have any questions about how to use this, when to use it, what you'll use? Throw it out right now. Now's your chance. You can raise your
I have
hand.
one.
Go.
I'll start it off and raise your hand if you have one, but tell everyone what T360 is just for fun, so they know.
Oh, T360 is a big consulting firm that does the trends report and they do deep analytical data on all things real estate. And I did a webinar for them today on, they've asked me to do some things on high performing teams just for their benefit. And so for the people that subscribe to consulting with T360, they're bringing us in as their expert on how to build high performing teams because there's nobody that does what we do in
It's your
high
jam.
performing teams in the world. I appreciate you teeing that up for me, Brent. That's a great
Absolutely.
question.
And I hope you all have a stack of notes like I do, line after line. I was sitting here just writing as quick as I could. And then, yep, Clark's got it.
And
So,
then can I share this with everybody,
yeah,
Brent?
yeah, heck yeah.
So twice a year, I bring all of my coaches to Salt Lake, and several of your top performers are workman coaches in your organization. They'll be in Salt Lake for coaches training in early end of September, 1st of October, and we decided to do a mastermind right after coaches training for only people who are doing 20 million or more in production personally. So if your team does 20 million or more, and you want to be in a room with other people doing more than that, we're doing a mastermind called Crazy, and it's the concept around it is building a business that is so successful and prints off so much cash and gives you so much of a great lifestyle. You'd be crazy to want to sell it.
Wow. I
And
love it.
so it's 50 people. It's a high performers only. That QR code, you can click on it to see if you qualify to be in the room. And we would love to invite anybody from your group that would love to be part of that. It's going to be probably a third workman people, and then 2/3 people that have been on the outskirts or have been past clients that are coming in. But we've decided to bring a bunch of high performers together, and it's going to have a very, very heavy AI focus. With two things: one on lead funnels and how we're using AI to convert at a much higher rate. And then we're sharing with each other the implementation of how we're utilizing AI in our businesses, not just better prompting and good ideas, but the actual agents that are doing tasks that used to be done by assistants and others. So it's going to be a powerful room, a room that if you qualify to be in, that you don't want to miss.
And you can take a prospect from Coldwell Banker or Remax or Sotheby's, like, hey, you can't even come unless it's 20 million or more, and we may not get in, but here it is. And
Good idea.
so I already clicked the button, claim your spot, and I'm starting to fill it out. Although I personally will be in Europe, I'm sorry, but
Okay.
this is the kind of stuff I built my business on. So let's all be here next Tuesday at 2:10 Pacific, 5:10 Eastern. Burl, thank you. And we're going to have more people. We're going to promote that. You guys bring people. Everyone bring one
Love it.
person. Herb, Jared, get someone here next week. This is good stuff. Denise, George, up in Montreal. Come on, then. Canadians love this stuff. Come on, baby. All right. Burl, thank you very
Hey,
much. Everyone have
continued
a great
success,
day.
everybody. Thank you. Great to see you all.